Hi, my name is Summer, and I'm presenting on the India's caste system and how it affects today's society. So the history of caste in India and the Indian Empire is from 600 BCE to 600 CE, so about 1,000 years before Jesus Christ even was discovered. Emperors maintained and further developed social systems that had been in place for a long time. So this is something that has been in place since way before any of us were born, even our grandparents. So the castes in India come from a very far off and long history. Oop. So the castes specifically are, I'm not going to pronounce their names because I know I'm going to butcher it so hard, but there's the priestly class. So that's the top of the top because they're the religious figures. And so people put them on the top of the pyramid and they respect them the most. Then you've got the ruling, administrative, and warrior class. They're the second most respected. And they're the people who basically are the government and the CEOs of all the companies in India. And then you've got the artists, the tradesmen, the farmers, and the merchants. And they're the third highest class. They're not the bottom yet, but they're not next to the top either. And they're the people who have classic like shops and grocery stores. They're going to be your artists, people who make pottery and stuff like that. And those are the people who people rely on to be basically like the middle class, if you were to compare it to America. And then you've got the bottom of the bottom, and this is going to be the poorest class, and the manual workers. So they're the people who work and they work at the grocery store, but they don't own it. You've got all the labor people who plumbers, they do physically all of the jobs, and they're also the poorest of the country. So why they're important? So many believe the groups originated from Brahma, the Hindu god of creation, which is why people put so much behind this caste system and they believe in it so much, because this was originally a part of the book that's called Manusmriti. Again, sorry if I'm butchering any of these names, if you know how to pronounce any of them. And that book acknowledges and justifies the caste system as the basis of order and regularity of society. So the religion is the entire reason why there's a caste system in India. And because it's the main religion and so many people in that country believe in it, it takes so much precedence over everything else. And all of those mythologies, those myths that they read in the book, they have so much more backing compared to other religions, and so much more like real world appliances. So you can apply it to the caste system, and the caste system is applied to literally every single person who lives in India, and many people believe in it so much. So, like I said, the caste system predicts your entire life. So the caste in India determine who you marry, what you do for work, and how your life will eventually turn out in the end. Rural communities have long been arranged on the basis of caste. The upper and lower castes almost always lived in segregated colonies. The water wells were not shared. They won't accept food or drink from different castes, and one would only marry within one caste. So basically, all of your life is determined on what caste you fall into and what family you're born into, which, as Americans in today's society, obviously, a lot of us won't believe in that anymore. But because it stems from their religion, they're so dedicated to it and they believe so solely in it. Indians' reliance on the mythology surrounding the main religion of Hinduism determine the entire country's politics, culture, and economy. So like I said, one caste is for all of the leaders of the country. You've got all the politicians, the CEOs, the people who actually make a difference in the country. And then the culture, so you can't marry outside of your caste, you can't do things outside of your caste, you have to follow specific rules within that culture. And then the economy, all of the money that you make, whatever job you get, is all determined on your caste. How to affect the future. So independent Indians' constitution banned discrimination on the basis of caste, And in an attempt to correct I can't even say that word, injustices, and provide a level playing field to the traditionally disadvantaged, the authority has announced quotas in government jobs and educational institutions for scheduled castes and tribes, the lowest in caste hierarchy in 1950. So in 1950 is when this ruling was basically put into law. So you're not supposed to discriminate on basis of caste. And even though that is law, so it's illegal to discriminate, and it's completely legal to go outside of your caste and try to get a job outside of it, or try to make money or marry outside of it. People just don't follow that because of all of their beliefs in their religion. How it'll affect the future again. So even with the law, it just doesn't affect any decisions. Ultimately, they still do affect marriage, jobs, and education abilities. Only 5% of marriages in India are between different castes. So even with this law about discriminations, people are just not following it because they believe so solely in their religion and how their religion ties into all of the castes. And that is all that I have. Thank you so much for listening.